Hey everybody, welcome to Enliven Wellness. My name is Tessa Gurley and I am really excited to be here and honored as well. So, what am I going to tell you about today? Possible strategies for if you're still living in a moldy environment or an iffy environment and you still need kind of like a safe place. I have some ideas to share with you, but stay tuned. First, if you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit the bell button so you're notified whenever a video of mine goes out and whenever I go live, which I do often because I love interacting with you all. So, all right, let's get started. Couple disclaimers. This is not necessarily totally scientific. These are some tips that I've gotten from like my mold remediator that I used when I was moving back into my new place. But these are also, there are reasons why I'm giving these suggestions, which I will list out. But please know that these are just suggestions. These aren't necessarily this is not to the caliber of professional remediation. I'm not going to claim that it is. These are just some thoughts for if you don't have a ton of money or budget, or you're like, I'm renting and I can't really remediate. What are some things that I can do to just have a safer, cleaner environment? These are some of my suggestions. So, all right, number one, mold spores like to hang out on dust particles. When I was moving into my new place, I asked my mold remediator, I was like, well, what are some ways that I can just help prevent this from, being a problem in the future? And he said, keep your house as dust-free as possible. I said, oh, okay. So, because the mold spores like to hang out on dust. And if any of you have done the ERMI test, you know that this is the case because they actually ask for dust swipes to pick up on the mold particles. So, thoughts here. Number one is to keep your space very dust-free. All right, and there's a couple of ways to do this. Some of my favorites. Swiffer duster. Okay, and the reason I like these is because you have microfiber. Another thing that my mold remediator told me was very, very, very important is to use Swiffer dusters. And anything microfiber, because then you can throw them away and they trap and lock the dust better than a cloth or something of that sort. So with that being said, always use microfiber towels to clean. And then you can get these, of course, the Swiffer dusters are hella cheap. You can buy them in massive amounts of bulk, goodness, right? And I always do. And yes, is it not as environmentally friendly because you're having some waste? Yeah, that's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's trapping the dust that you don't want in your house and you can throw it away. Same with the microfiber towels. These things are hella cheap. You can find them in huge bulk amounts at auto parts stores or even at Walmart in the auto section. All right, so number one is to keep your environment super dust-free. Now, if you're like, okay, well, if I stir up the dust and then I'm breathing in the dust and the mycotoxin spores or the particles, it's kind of you're going to be doing that anyway if you're still living there, right? It's sort of well, yes, you might be breathing them in, but when you're cleaning it, but you're still breathing them in because you're living there. And a couple thoughts there is that you can find a mask that you could wear. Also, after you dust, you want to get a vacuum with a HEPA filter. And then you can vacuum up your area with that HEPA filter vacuum. Okay? All right. Number two. So number one is keep your environment dust-free with everything and all things microfiber that you can toss and get rid of, and use cheap little microfiber towels and just get new ones constantly. All right. Number two idea is to get a diffuser and then what you can do is you can diffuse hydrogen peroxide. All right, and you can diffuse hydrogen peroxide. This is what I did when I was living in my moldy apartment, and I would just put a couple of diffusers in my kitchen because I knew that that's where it was, and I would just diffuse the hydrogen peroxide constantly throughout my day. And I would actually mix in hydrogen peroxide with clove oil or thyme oil, and I would put that in my kitchen and just let it just go. Again, this isn't totally rooted in oh, does this for sure work? I mean, I can't tell you for sure because I didn't get the air samples before and after, but what I can say is that when I got my house fogged, or my apartment fogged a couple of times when I was still living there, he used a silver and hydrogen peroxide solution. And so that was kind of my thoughts around just keeping those diffusers going by just pumping it out into the air. And then also you can get like bulk hydrogen peroxide is like, I love hydrogen peroxide and I use it for everything. But you can buy it in bulk on Amazon for $11 a gallon. Wicked cool. So that's number 2, is possibly diffuse hydrogen peroxide and silver throughout your house or your location, or like in just a room, you know what I mean? Like if you just need a safe room, right? And then number 3, this one is a little bit more expensive, but I can provide you a coupon code, and that would be an air purifier, specifically the IQ Air, and I can't lift it up, so I'm gonna bring you down here. So specifically the IQ Air is the one that I use, and I use the Health Pro series, and I can get you a coupon code for 5% off with that. So if you're interested in buying one, please let me know. They have payment plans as well. So it might seem a little bit expensive up front, but they do have payment plans, and then I can get you that 5% off. So you would just have to email me and let me know, and I can give you the promo code. So, but number 4 is the most important one. If you are still living in a moldy environment and you're like, and people don't believe me when I say this, but it's true, because I've experienced it myself and it just makes sense. You gotta take care of your body first. And you've got to make sure that you are healthy and that you are strong in your own self, number 1, so that you're more resilient to withstand the toxic load that is around us all the time. I mean, not just you living in the moldy environment, but all of us. Like we're all living in kind of like this like toxic soup, unless you live on a mountaintop in Tibet, which is awesome. Please let me know and I'll come live with you. Let's create a retreat center. But you know, other than that, you've got to keep your body more resilient. You know, case in point, I go into moldy environments all the time now, and I'm like hardly affected at all. And like I know the strategies that I need to do, like when I come home, just a couple of other things, but it's about keeping your body more healthy. Like I no longer get my ass kicked if I'm in a moldy environment, which I am every single week. Right? So like you just kind of need to keep your body more resilient, and you need to know the things to do to help the situation, you know, to help your body and support your body. So that's the number 1 thing, is you've got to make yourself more resilient. But these are some external strategies that I've come up with that you can possibly do. Oh, and there's one more. You can do your laundry like at a laundromat constantly, use borax. You know, go watch my video about the laundry protocol. You know, do your laundry often. And of course, like, you know, a neti pot and all of these different things. And I have videos about all of these. I just wanted to give you a list of like basically like 3 or 4 things that you could do. There's a whole host of other things that you could do, but these are just a couple quick little tips for you. So then let's go back over them. Number 1, dust-free environment. Get yourself a lot of microfiber cleaning supplies and use those. Wear a mask when you do this. Like that's kind of one of your best, you know, that's a good defense. And then you can use a HEPA filter vacuum after that, and keep your environment clean and minimalist. Like that's one of the biggest things, is like don't have a lot of stuff. You know, like get rid of stuff and like just cleanse out and purge. So then that's still number 1. And then number 2 is to use a hydrogen peroxide diffuser, sort of like makeshift fogger machine, if you will. And then number 3 is the IQ Air. If you can afford it, if you want the payment plans, if you'd like the discount code or promo code, let me know. And then number 4, but most importantly, is to keep your body more resilient. So I hope that these were helpful, and these are just some ideas that I came up with, like a couple, like I was like, oh, these are some of the things that I did and that I still do. I keep my place really clean. I use all these products, you know, I do these things. I go through my house and just spray hydrogen peroxide just in case there's stuff floating through the air. So I do this too. And as always, if you'd like more guidance and you'd like some coaching with me and working, and you'd like to work together, you know, whether it's like you need strategies with moving, or like, you know, how do I clean my environment? Or, you know, how do I get my body more resilient? What are some things that I can do to become more resilient? You know, anything and everything, I'm here for you. Just email me and say I'm ready, and we'll get started on a good plan for you. And I love you so much. Thank you to all my loyal subscribers and my followers, and I love you guys. Please comment and, you know, share and like this video, and just thank you so much for being part of my Enliven family. I love you so much. Have a good day. Bye.